Okay, hello parents. I emailed you these problems that I thought maybe students could work on. I tried to put a mix of everything in there. So I'm going to solve them for you, and hopefully students won't see this page until after they've tried it out and they're just checking their answers. So we're going to start out with an addition problem. So let's start. We always start in the ones column. So 7 plus 5 is 12. The 12 has a 10 in it and a 2. So the 2 goes in the ones column, and the 10 in the 12 will go in the tens column. Now students need to remember we are now in the tens column. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 2 is 12 again. So the 2 stays here in the tens column, and the 1, which is actually 100, will go into the hundreds column. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 6 is 15. So I put the 5 here in the hundreds column and carry the 1 up into the thousands column. And 3 plus 1 and 1 is 5. Please let me know if I make a mistake by commenting, I guess, on the video. Now let's move on to the subtraction. With subtraction, you can't just dive right in. We got to kind of look at the numbers. So automatically I can see that there's a 3 on top in 513, and this 6 is too big to take away from the 3. Also in the tens column, I have a 1 on top, and I'm trying to subtract 8. That also doesn't work. So what we need to do is borrow from some other columns. Remember, it takes 10 ones to make a 10 and 10 tens to make 100. So every time we borrow from a different column, we're going to bring a 10 over. So I'm taking a 10, or I'm taking out a 100, taking out one 100, and I'm going to bring, it's going to convert into 10 tens. So 10 tens plus 1 10 is 11. 10 plus 1 is 11. But I need to borrow again so that I can bring it into the ones. So I'm going to take out a 10. That makes it 10 right there. And I'm going to bring it over here, and it converts into 10 ones. And 10 plus 3 is 13. So 13 minus 6 is 7. 10 minus 8 is 2. And 4 minus 4 is 0. So my answer is just 27. I'm sorry, my dog is crying at my door right now, so if you can hear it, my apologies. Here, I had written a 7, and I decided to turn it into an 8. So to add these fractions, I need to find a common denominator. Right now, I have eighths and fourths, and that doesn't work. But lucky for us, the 4 I could double to make the 8. So I'm going to convert this into eighths. 5 eighths is already done for us, so I'm going to put 5 eighths here. And to make this into an 8, all I have to do is multiply by 2. If I multiply the bottom by 2, I need to multiply the top by 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times 2 is 8. And now I simply get to add. 5 plus 2 is 7, and my denominator stays the same at 8. Now I made the subtraction just a little bit trickier on purpose. I have a 4 and a 3. I cannot do this problem until I have the same common denominator. So I have to start thinking, what number can 3 and 4 both go into? 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. Oh. 4 times 2 is 8. I know 3 can't fit into 8 evenly, so it is 12. So I want to convert both of these into twelfths. So I'm going to say 4 times what is 12? It's 3. So I multiply the top and bottom by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Now I'm going to look at this. 3 times what is 12? It's 4. So I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by 4. 1 times 4 is 4, and now I subtract. 9 minus 4 equals 5, and my denominator is twelfths. All right, now on to the multiplication. I have 32 and 14. I'm going to draw my array because that's the strategy I like most. I'm going to do my 32, and 14 is a 10 and a 4. I have to separate them. 3 times 1 is 3, and then there's 2 zeros, so I'm going to add 2 zeros. 3 times 4 is 12, and I'll add a 0. 2 times 10 is 20, and 2 times 4 is 8. I'll do a little bit of mental math, so I'm going to do 300 plus 120 is 420, plus the 28 equals 448. Now let's do our division. I'm going to do it the same way that I just did my multiplication, except I'm going to do it backwards. This is my answer here for multiplication. But with division, I already have that right here. So this will be my area. So I'm going to start with an open array. And I'm going to put my 3 here. Just like in my other video, I'm going to look at this number starting here, the 250. But for now, I'm just going to say it's a 25. So 3 goes into 25 8 times. 3 times 8 is 24. But remember, this isn't a 25, it's a 250. So if I add a 0 here, I can add a 0 here. 258 minus 240 is 18. 3 times 6 is 18. And just as I did before with the division, I like to check myself. So do I have my 3? Yes, I do. It's right here. Do I have my 258? Yes, I do. It's right here in these two numbers. So I have that. The only numbers I have not done anything with is right here, this whole line, and it's 86. So I know my answer is 86. Now let's look at the cute little story problem I made. Maggie is organizing her rock collection. She wants to separate her rocks into groups of 6. In one bag, she has 96 rocks. In another bag, she has 52. Can she separate them into equal groups? How many rocks will be in each group? So first I need to figure out how many rocks she has altogether. So I'm going to add 96 plus 52. 6, 7, 8, and 9 plus 5 is 14. So she has 148 rocks altogether. Now we need to divide it into 6. So I'm going to use the same strategy I used up above. 6 goes into 14 2 times. Remember, this is really not a 14, it's 140. So I'm going to add a 0 up here and add a 0 here. And then I have 28 left. So 6 goes into 28 4 times, and the answer is 24. There we go. And we have 4 extra rocks. So the question was, can she separate them into equal groups? No. And if I had enough room, I would write this in a sentence. No, Maggie cannot separate these rocks into equal groups. How many rocks will be in each group? Well, 24. There are 24 rocks in each group, but there's 4 left over. So, if there are 6 groups, I'm running out of room. If there are 6 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you had 24 in each one, I could add 1 more to each of these groups. So you could say, oh, there's going to be 25 in 4 of the groups, and then 24 in 2 of them, and that's as close as you're going to get for them to be even. So I hope you guys did okay with this. Let me know which problems you think are the most challenging, or maybe they're more fun than others. And then I will try to do some more function problems and see where we go from there. If you have any requests, let me know. Bye!